Brought to you by stationhousecoffee.com and inspireddisorder.com/ting.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
The Binge, comedy movie on Hulu that I really enjoyed. It's a teen comedy that takes kind of the idea of The Purge, but instead of killing people, instead of it being like a horror thriller kind of a movie, The Binge is a universe in which a prohibition actually works, a prohibition on all drugs and alcohol. And this is a generation of kids that grow up in a reality where a prohibition works. And one day a year, similar to The Purge, anybody over 18 can binge on as many drugs as they want. All drugs and alcohol are available for consumption, and that is what is done on this day. And it's not even a full day. It's like 12 hours or 10 hours. So if you can kind of allow yourself to let go of the reality of any kind of situation, like a prohibition working, like alcohol and beer manufacturers only manufacturing for one day a year, then you're in the place to watch this movie. I really loved it. I thought it was hilarious. It has, like, if you were a fan, as I was, I mean, it's not just teenagers, but, you know, that kind of age range from your early 20s, your teens and early 20s. For me, it was like movies like American Pie. Superbad came out a little bit later. I mean, this movie is very much in a lot of ways like Superbad because it's a group of friends who are trying to get to this party. And on the way to get to, they're trying to get wristbands so they can go to this party. And on the way, of course, they're doing all the drugs and alcohol. It's very similar also to like Road Trip or Old School, which I think Old School is a little bit more. I mean, Old School is a bunch of older people, so I guess not. Road Trip is kind of a similar thing, though, where they're, you know, college kids. So this follows a group of kids who are 18, and they're participating in their first purge. And it's hilarious. One, it's funny. There's just tons of jokes written into this thing. But also it's just interesting to see a teen comedy that's still able to be raunchy and funny, despite the fact that we live in a time where older comedians and older people think that having to censor, like not being able to use like racist humor, like all the kind of old ways that people would lazily be funny, like all the hack comic ways of, you know, racist humor, fat humor, or just like gay humor, making like calling somebody gay is funny, like the Bill and Ted kind of the thing that doesn't hold up in the old Bill and Ted movie. Like having a movie where you're not offending people, you can still make it really funny. And I thought this movie was really funny. Vince Vaughn plays the parent of one of these kids who's also trying to track down his daughter because he thinks that she's, he doesn't want her to take drugs or whatever, but also doesn't want her to get pregnant, which is a joke that's thrown out there. But yeah, it's just kind of you're on this journey with these three friends. Well, it's like two friends, and then a third friend is like the guy they used to hang out with, but for whatever reason, they kind of drifted apart, and now they're kind of back together. But all three of them are hilarious. Just their journey to try and get to this party is really fun. There is one other thing that you have to kind of not think too hard on, and that is, I mean, the premise itself, The Binge, is an interesting premise, but the downside to that premise is that you can't really take all of the drugs in one day and experience all of them correctly, right? Like if you're getting drunk, then, you know, doing weed it's gonna affect weed differently. But there's scenes where like they eat burritos that are filled with mushrooms, and they eat a lot of them. And the only thing there is a fun musical sequence that happens after that, which is, an enjoyable way to express a mushroom trip. I've never done mushrooms myself, but, as, just the kind of that trope of, psychedelics. There's a similar one in Flight of the Conchords where they take acid and there's a little musical montage, although that show is full of musical montages, so maybe it doesn't work. But this one was a fun musical moment that happens. But then the mushroom trip only lasts, I don't know how long it lasts in the universe of this movie. Let's say 2 hours. My understanding is that mushroom trips last a lot longer. They also take, at one point, they finally do get to this party, and the party is also like this competition where these groups can compete and become like immortalized or whatever. I forget what the whole the what it's called when they win. But Vince Vaughn is a character that in the past had won this competition. So when he meets up, it's like it really has a lot of the tropes of a standard teen comedy. But I love it. And Vince Vaughn's role in this is very similar in a lot of ways to Old School, where they have to do a competition and Vince Vaughn is there. And he's kind of the ringer. Not necessarily in Old School, but in this one he's a ringer. But yeah, just like a lot of funny moments. Just a lot of funny moments in this movie. I really enjoyed it. I'm curious. It reminded me a lot of another movie that's on Netflix called The Package, which is another teen comedy. Which the long-haired dude in this movie, what's his name? Eduardo Franco. I believe he was also in The Package and is the main character. Yes, he's also in Booksmart and American Vandal. He's in a lot of great shit, man. And he's great in this one. Package is really funny, very similar to this movie as far as being a teen movie. For whatever reason, I was thinking that it was the same writer director. No relation other than the actor to The Package, but The Package being another teen comedy kind of a thing about these teens that go camping and one of them gets their dick cut off, and it's a whole thing. But a lot of fun. So yeah, if you're looking for, this one's on Hulu, by the way. If you're looking for a fun movie to watch, a new comedy movie that's fun for adults as well as kids, I would say. It's really funny, and it's really interesting just to see how they kind of the passing of the torch, that there's still like really funny teen comedies coming out, and they're able to make these funny teen comedies with having diverse casts, with having interesting characters, with having with not using these kind of hack racist or racial or just kind of ignorant jokes. Like they're able to pull off a really funny movie without having to be offensive. I assume maybe it is. There's some offensive stuff in it, but overall, I really enjoyed the movie. It's probably a movie that I will be putting on in the background many times, just because it's one of those movies where you can look up and see a funny sequence here and there, because it's just like nonstop. It's a nonstop adventure of these people trying to get bracelets to go to this party. And then once they get to the party, it's a whole more thing. But there's comedy throughout. Like it's constantly churning out comedic moments that I really enjoyed. So if you're looking for a really fun movie to watch, now that everything is out and watched despite this pandemic, go over to Hulu and check out The Binge. It's a lot of fun. Make sure you support our sponsors by following Station House Coffee on Instagram and going to stationhousecoffee.com and order yourself some amazing premium coffee, small batch, single origin coffee brewed in Vermont, shipped directly to you. Go to stationhousecoffee.com, support small business, and get yourself some high quality, amazing coffee today. Also, get $25 in credit when you sign up for your new cell phone service over at Ting. Go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Ting. That's Ting, for the best coverage coast to coast, same low rates, now with 3 of the most powerful networks supporting them. Ting is amazing. You only pay for what you use. My cell phone bill has been less than $15 because I turn the data off because I'm home all the time. So go get yourself $25 in credit when you sign up for Ting using my link, inspireddisorder.com/Ting. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. And follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!